Many members of the intelligence community in America are not happy with Edward Snowden, not happy with the talk of, like we've had on this network, of possible clemency for Edward Snowden. Now, you can pretty much forget about the whole clemency thing. They want him dead, basically. And in speaking to a BuzzFeed reporter anonymously, several members of the intelligence community have said things like, "In a world where I would not be restricted from killing an American, I personally would go and kill him myself." A lot of people share this sentiment. Let's see, a former U.S. Special Forces officer said, "Would love to put a bullet in his head," adding that Snowden is single-handedly the greatest traitor in American history.
That's not true.
That does not seem true. I think if we had the chance, we would end it very quickly, just casually walking on the streets of Moscow, coming back from buying his groceries, going back to his flat, and he's casually poked by a passerby. He thinks nothing of it at the time, starts to feel a little woozy, and thinks it's a parasite from the local water. He goes home very innocently, and next thing you know, he dies in the shower.
I could read that quote 1,000 times. I think it's the coolest thing I've read in weeks.
That were, I guess.
Like, I mean, it's just,
that's in that Jack Ryan movie, right?
It's super badass. Like, you know, the little, you know.
Yeah, I guess that's
they
true.
kind of did that they did it in the in an episode of The Americans this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they like stabbed.
Oh, this guy's plagiarizing. We got
Totally.
a Shia LaBeouf over here.
Carrie Russell stabbed some dude in the foot with a umbrella, and then they held him hostage, and like said, look, there's an antidote, but they needed his guy's mother to like plant something for them, and then they'd give him the antidote. It was cool shit.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Right, so I get it. Like this is, but like I don't know how I don't know. It seems crazy that BuzzFeed talked to guys all these intelligence officers, but I mean they did clearly. I'm not moved by this, other than it's a good story. But like like I got it. You're talking to the people most affected by this, who are the people who are most pissed off about it, who live in a world where sometimes it's okay to kill someone.
Yeah.
So this is a guy they'd like to kill. Like he's got 3 quotes. It's good. You know, nobody.
Yeah, they're perfectly fine
and he
quotes.
points out in the BuzzFeed thing, nobody in the full piece, like nobody's like, this is not going to happen. Like this is all there. They all say that, but he does say that none of them said this was going to happen. They were all like, this is their little fantasy because they're this pissed at this guy.
Yeah, but I love the idea of them being like, and this is going to happen. Like they're not going to say that.
No, but they could said if that guy comes back to America, I'd be careful if I were him. You know.
Yeah, but if you can track down 3 of these officers who are willing to say it anonymously while he's out of the country, if he gets back in here, there's a lot of people involved in this community. I think one of them might be willing to poke him as he passes by. But this does.
I don't think. By the way, if Edward Snowden gets super sick, I don't think he's going to think it's a parasite from the local water.
Yeah, that's true.
I think he's going to think,
watchful.
oh my God, I've been poisoned.
Yeah. But so this is just one more reason I think that it makes so much sense that Edward Snowden is I guess has the stature that we see him as having, and that he was nominated for Turk of the Year of the last year. That we live in a world where simply by revealing what you see to be as crimes that the government is committing, there are a number of people who are fully capable of killing you. Not just internet trolls who are like, I'm gonna track you down and kill you. They actually could. They could poke you with some weird radioactive substance that will make you die in your shower, and he still did it. And he knew all this stuff about what the government was doing. You bet your ass he knew about their willingness to assassinate their political opponents.
Do you think, very quickly, there will ever come a point where it makes sense for both sides to make a deal?
To make a deal in terms of him coming back? Yeah. It might. I don't know at this point really what Obama has to gain from it, because as far as we know, we've been led to believe all of the information that Edward Snowden has already been given to Glenn Greenwald, if not possibly a few other people. And so what do they really gain by getting him back?
Well, not talking about it anymore, not having this guy out there sort of as a go-to voice who'd eventually appear on television, incredibly critical of it, a symbol of abuse of power, as opposed to, look, we're going to make a deal. We're going to, you know, all crimes related to anything here go away. You know, I presume you serve 4 years in prison, then you can write your book, do your movie, whatever it is, and we go about our business.
It might be that they could be driven to want to make that deal. I don't know that I would really trust them if I was Edward Snowden, considering what happened to Bradley Manning and Chelsea Manning.
I'd have a very good lawyer. Yeah. I'd have the agreement. I'd have the agreement drawn up in Russia.
Yeah, your lawyer might get poked after buying groceries.